Hey everyone, Warwick's here. So they just put out the latest PTR slash somewhat beta build. Beta servers are offline right now, so I can't get on the level 70 Valdrakken server to check out everything, but Wowhead's come in clutch, as they usually do, with all the updated changes on the PTR version of the talent calculator. So we're going to go over some of the changes for just Druid holistically. We're going to start with Feral Druid. Nothing here that is surprising. We kind of known about a lot of these changes coming through, so Primal Claws coming down. We know that like Lunar Inspiration was removed, Scent of Blood was removed, Tireless Energy was moved down. So like a lot of these changes I'm not surprised about. Unfortunately, the class tree does not have any changes to it yet, so like the build for class tree is probably not going to change at all, so I'm not going to bother with it for any of the specs, because it's just not relevant right now because the builds don't change. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the trees. Tiger's Fury, Omen of Clarity, Primal Claws has been moved to where Protective Growth was in the most previous build. Just gives you a 20% chance to generate extra combo points. Then of course Primal Wrath is here. Merciless Strikes does what it does before. We've got Predator, giving you Predator's normal things, giving you the reactionary, and then Double Clawed Rake is here now in place of Scent of Blood, so it's no longer here. It got moved up a row. Lunar Inspiration was moved here, way out of the way, not touching anything. You can take it if you want, but I still don't see a reason for Lunar Inspiration to be involved in the cat rotation at all. So it's still, I think, a dead talent, but it's at least in a position that's much less offensive. On the fourth row, Protective Growth did get buffed from 3 to 5%, is now here. Sabertooth does what Sabertooth does. Tireless Energy, now instead of giving you like a haste proc, it's just a straight maximum energy buff and an energy regen buff. Probably a talent that we might want to take if we can find the points for it. Pouncing Strikes does what Pouncing Strikes does. On the fifth row, Sudden Ambush does what it does. Rampant Ferocity got moved. It's now here. It was on the other side over here. Now it's here, which I think is a better position for it, giving you, of course, the Cleave Ferocious Bite. Tear Open Wounds hasn't moved. Taste for Blood hasn't really changed. Now the spawn off node, Relentless Predator, is a new talent which reduces the cost of Ferocious Bite from basically 50 to 40. I don't think this is a talent that you pick all that often. Dreadful Bleeding got moved from this position, from like a position over here to a position over here. It swapped places with Rampant Ferocity, I think. So still does what it does. Moment of Clarity now connects to Survival Instincts below it, which opens up a connection in the tree. Anytime you can connect more stuff, we are happy with that. Predatory Swiftness and Infected Wounds. Infected Wounds did get a minor chance to make Rake do more damage, so there's a possibility now that it's worth taking. It's still only a single target slow, but the slow I don't think is the important part. It's the Rake damage, if you're focused on a more builder-based playstyle. Eye of Fearful Symmetry, which was right here. Frantic Momentum have basically switched places. Eye of Fearful Symmetry has been renamed Tiger's Tenacity, so it actually gives us like a very cool visual here. Let me just spend some talent points real quick just to get down to this side of the tree. So now it has like a cool look. So instead of like these offsetting nodes like you're getting over here, you now have this cool looking node setup. But I do think that each of these cool add really nice bonuses to Tiger's Fury. You can either choose to extend it, or you can choose to do like a combo point thing. So a longer Tiger Fury or more combo points, I think there's actually a decent choice node. Tuning's going to determine everything. Berserk Heart of the Lion, I think is still in the same place. Survival Instinct still in the same place. Berserk Frenzy still very accessible. Brutal Slash, Wild Slashes, both of those are perfectly fine. We'll just take Wild Slashes. We'll grab these Berserk talents just to get down a little bit. Carnivorous Instincts hasn't changed. Frantic Momentum has been moved out of the choice node and now comes here. Now on the flip side, it does have reduced haste count. So instead of 10% haste for 6 seconds, it's going to be 6% haste for 6 seconds. I think it's fine for where it's at. Unfortunately, I think it's not as fun to me, but I have to get in and really play with it some more to figure it out. Cat's Curiosity has been buffed to now generate 50% of energy costs. This is got the old Cat's Eye Curio symbol. This is good if you're looking for like an energy regen build. Rip and Tear now does a % damage. so this is probably going to be good in single target, although I think Vein Ripper still ends up being the choice overall. Apex Predator's Craving is now the capstone down here. Does what Apex Predators does now. Soul of the Forest unfortunately got nerfed from 3 energy per combo point to 5 energy, from 5 energy from combo point, so they did nerf Soul of the Forest a little bit. I think ultimately you're still going to be taking Soul of the Forest fairly often unless you run like a heavy haste energy regen build. Circle of Life and Death now moved down to a capstone build. I think that's fine. Incarnation Avatar of Ashmane did get a small change. Where was it at? I'm thinking of the wrong one. Ashmane didn't stay the same. Ursoc's changed. And then Ashmane's Guidance now basically makes the Convoke more along the lines of the Celestial Spirits legendary. So you get 1 minute Convoke, number of spells cast reduced from 16 to 12, and then of course the higher. So basically it does everything that it does, that the Celestial Spirits legendary does now. And then of course Ashmane's Guidance now basically gives you a chance to get you like these mini 6-second incarnation windows. I think this means there's some really good choice here. I think Convoke probably is going to be the natural choice, but I think there might be a place for incarnation. We'll have to see. Adaptive Swarm got kind of untethered to a few different things and now just becomes 1-point talent here at the bottom to do what the Necrolord legendary does now. And Feral Frenzy is down here as well. Unfortunately, I don't really see a place for Feral Frenzy in the build. So what does a potential AoE build look like? Let's look. So we'll of course grab Omen of Clarity. Let me grab the essentials just to get down the tree. So we're gonna grab those. Alright. Grab that, grab that. Of course we need Tear Open Wounds, need Taste for Blood because it's still gonna be important. Of course we grab Berserk. Rampant Ferocity is important. Predatory Swiftness as a defensive mechanism is important, and we needed to get Heart of the Lion. So again, I'm just looking at the things that I think are going to be necessary to get down the tree. I need 1 more point. Do we put a point in Primal Claws, or do we get it in Moment of Clarity? I think you can do either one. I'm going to do Moment of Clarity, although I think Primal Claws or even Tireless Energy. Actually, you know what? I'm going to do that. I'm going to do Tireless Energy because I have the point here. Of course, we're going to grab Vein Ripper because I think it's just the best talent. We'll put 2 points here, 2 points here. I think you get Soul of the Forest still. And then I'm going to go ahead and take Convoke this build. So I've got 2 more points. And here I think you have a choice. You can go grab something like Lion Strength just to do just flat damage, or if you want a little bit more complexity, Blood Talents. Again, tuning will kind of determine it. You can also grab a point here on Raging Fury. So I think there's some options here. I'm going to take Tiger's Tenacity and then a point in Circle of Life and Death. And I kind of think this might be your somewhat Mythic Plus build. For single target, you just switch Wild Slashes to Brutal Slash. You'd probably take Rend and Tear for pure single target over Vein Ripper, although Vein Ripper I still think is good. Other single target stuff that you would take, you probably could take Relentless Predator. You would skip Tear Open Wounds, of course, because you wouldn't need it. And I could see you taking... you skip Double Clawed Rake because you wouldn't need it for pure single target. And instead the point would probably go into Primal Claws or a second one into Tireless Energy. So there's definitely some things set up here. You could obviously go get Blood Talons as well, or Lion Strength. I think there's some options here with that last point. It's a pretty flexible point in my opinion. I'm going to look more towards the energy side of the build rather than the combo point side of the build. So getting 30 extra energy and 10% energy regeneration, you're essentially getting Savage Roar without the maintenance of Savage Roar. So I think I like this build idea, at least on the surface. But overall, really positive changes to the Feral Tree. I'll have to see how they play and how they feel on beta. I'll definitely be getting on the dummies as soon as the beta servers are back up, and probably after raid as well. So I'll be checking that out this evening. So I'll probably do some follow-up videos on how these things feel, but I just wanted to touch on the changes. Let's look at Guardians real quick, because they didn't really get any changes, at least on the PTR calculator. Let me look real quick. Gore, Survival Instincts, yep, everything's looking the same. Vulnerable Flesh is still there. Flashing Claws got adjusted. They said they repositioned some of these talents, but I don't think they've been fully data mined yet. Oh, they did make some small changes here. This is now split into this. Okay. Some small changes there. I still think there's some problems with this tree that need to be adjusted. I think they could do Circle of Life and Death and the Pulverize. Elude's Favorite into this choice node, for example. I'll probably do another video in the next day or so about the changes that I think need to be done to the Guardian tree, because I think there's quite a few. But at least splitting this off and kind of giving us some options, whether you want to go Circle of Life and Death or grab Elude's Favorite, I think that's a good choice, because you go Moonfire build, or you do more just kind of general thrash damage. I like that option. But other than that, the tree hasn't really changed much, at least from this version of the data mine PTR tree. I'm still on Mad Hopium that we get something else coming up in the next little bit. So we'll skip that. Let's look at the balance tree. Did they get changes? Does not appear that they got major updates in the talent tree changes, just kind of the stuff that has been known about and talked about already with the eclipse changes, where you're not locked into alternating your eclipses. They did data mined mushrooms coming back in somewhere, so they did change the names of some talents. I know that Oneth's and Time Worn Dream Mender both got name changes in the patch notes. These blessings probably need to be like scrapped completely. I think Umberland Fusion got a name change, and the Chosen of a Loon no longer, I think, doesn't grant the crit now. There's some changes that happen. Let me see if I can find. Do I have the patch notes somewhere? I do not. Let's grab it. Microsoft Edge, Wowhead. Oh, speaking of balance, let's look at this. Let's see. Astral Smolder, Balance of All Things, Denizen of the Dream. Like, there's a lot of data mine stuff here. For this video, I'm not going to touch into it because I don't want to go in deep dive. Like, some of these we already know, but there's some stuff new. Like, they renamed some things like Stellar Innervation. I know Rattle the Stars is just a renamed talent that's already there, with a little bit of adjustment. We like this. I like that talent change. It's just going to depend on where they are in the tree. So, sounds like the balance tree is still in work, which means that when it goes up and I get to mess around with it, we will do a video on it. I'm very interested in trying Balance Druid and Dragonflight, with me most likely being a Druid main in Dragonflight. I'm going to do what I've done with Monk for this season on Monk in Shadowlands Season 4. I wanted to get 2k on every spec. I did accomplish that. Posted it on Twitter. So go check that out. You can also check out my Raider.io page, see that I'm not lying about it. I didn't really document the journey, but I think in Dragonflight with Druid, I am going to document the journey by recording some key dungeons, I think. Like things like First 15 or the first dungeon, the key dungeons, and then also, of course, the dungeons that get me the 2k. So probably going to be streaming a lot more, or at least recording a lot more footage. Sorry, there was a bug on my computer monitor. Had to get it out of there. So we'll see how this goes. Friend of the Fae is an interesting one, because you're talking about fairy dragons. Love the idea of this. So okay, so the Incarnation Guardian of a Loon change kind of is updated. Is it grant crit in this build? Yes, it does. So that's already implemented. That's good to see. Let's see. What else do we got here? Creating Fury of a Loon. That's good to see. Tireless Pursuit. That. I wonder if they're going to replace that somewhere. Same with Ursine Vigor. These are talents in the class tree, so maybe the class tree gets an update. Interesting stuff. And then let's look at the restoration tree. So the balance tree, I'm going to hold off on making any judgments on, because it sounds like there's more work coming to it. Hopefully the Guardian tree gets a little bit more work to it, but the fact that this is really the only change that they made tells me they're pretty happy with the build. So let's just mess around real quick. Let's make a Mythic Plus build real quick. We're gonna grab Gory Fur. We grab all of these because we love those. gonna grab Flashing Claws into Earth Warden so we can get Unchecked Aggression. We don't really want these Maul talents. I don't think in Mythic Plus you're gonna have a lot of room for Maul like you do now. We're gonna do Layered Mane into Reinforced Fur. I would like to see them take Front of the Pack, Galactic Guardian, and Vicious Cycle, honestly, and connect these to the Berserk talents, and then to Fury of Nature. Although I think Front of the Pack probably needs to be skipped, and like all 3 of these Moonfire talents be shifted more central. But again, I'll do a bigger video on them. So let's see. Let's go grab, of course, Rage of the Sleeper. And do you want to go get Reinvigoration into Ursox into Rend and Tear? Let's do this first. At the very least, let's grab those talents, because I want to go full Moonfire build. Okay, and I only have 2 points left, which means if I take these 3 talent points, basically, if you take Fury of Nature, you are guaranteeing that you can only get 2 that you either are going to have to choose Incarnation / Convoke, or you're going to have to choose getting Rend and Tear. That's a little unfortunate, because I think this middle of the tree is a little bit much, although there was signals that Earth Warden is moved. So overall, the build is probably still going to be something like Incarnation with the improved Incarn. Getting the cooldown reduction on it so that you can try to line up Incarn and Rage of the Sleeper as much as humanly possible to be an absolute god. In raid builds, I think you take away these and you go, obviously grab that. I think you still go down here, grab probably Soul of the Forest into Rage of the Sleeper, just because you get that 25% DR on a 90-second cooldown, which we love. See, I got 6 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, I can still grab Convoke. Oh, so this last point I think is very flexible. You can grab Vicious Cycle, which I think should switch places with Vulnerable Flesh, in my opinion. You can grab the second charge of Survival Instincts. You can grab Jagged Wound, Infected Wounds. You can come over here and get like Guardian Balloon if you wanted. We grab Incarn. So I actually like the raid build much better than I do the Mythic Plus build. I think the Mythic Plus build just needs probably a point or 2 shaved off of it somewhere. Maybe Flashing Claws in Earth Warden get adjusted. I would like to see Vicious Cycle switch with Vulnerable Flesh. I'd like to see Galactic Guardian connect to something so that way I can, you know, have better. I'd like to see a lot of talents just connect better. I don't think there should be any hanging talents in the Guardian tree. I think literally everything should connect to everything. If it hangs out like Infected Wounds or Ursox Endurance should connect down. These 3 talents connect down. These 2 talents connect down. You know, whatever the case may be. So, hoping that we get more Guardian adjustments coming. But overall for Druid, oh, we haven't looked at Resto yet. So Resto, I think, got some movement around. Let's look. So of course, you get Life Plume, Ysera's Gift, Nature's Swiftness, and Omen of Clarity. I think all of these are important. Flash of Clarity giving you more clear cast. Nourish got moved up here. Okay. Still don't think you ultimately take it, but it's there. Scenario 1 Abundance is still around. Improved Regrowth. I think you're going to use definitely in more single target situations. You know, you take Scenario Ward, but I like that you can get Growth Tending straight to Efflo. Waking Dream just improves Ysera's Gift, which I'm not 100% sure you want to use. Alright, those haven't changed. Okay, so they renamed one of the improved Iron Barks to Stone Bark. That's good. Wild Growth, Inner Peace and Dream State hasn't changed. Cultivation here is good. Soul of the Forest there is good. Verdancy, Regenesis of Deep Roots got renamed. That's fine. Harmonious Blooming, that's good. Regenerative Heartwood, I think, is good. Okay, so they moved Nurturing Dormancy down. Okay, so they moved Nurturing Dormancy from like right here down to here. I think that's fine. Of course, Verdant Infusion Flourish option, so single target versus AoE. I think that's the type of choice that you're looking at. Adaptive Swarm is fine. I would like to see them do a stat buff to Incarn Tree of Life. I still think Convoke is going to be the play there. Spring Ross Overgrowth is fine. Circle of Life and Death being here is fine. Budding Leaves, that got renamed. and is a boost to life bloom. I don't remember this talent. I haven't paid attention that much to Resto stuff. I'll be perfectly honest about that. I probably should. Cenarius Guidance is the usual post-buff boon, and then Germination down here I think is good. Embrace of the Dream hasn't moved. Unbridled Swarm. Yeah, so the rest of the tree, other than the one major move, Nurturing Dormancy and Regenesis, kind of opening up a little bit. Mostly just talent change renames, I think. Nothing here that's major in terms of fundamental changes to how talents function. So I think generally I'm going to do more research on Restoration and kind of dig into it a little bit more and learn a bit more about it. I'm kind of doing that with almost all of the Druid specs, except maybe Guardian, because I love the spec so much. But definitely Feral, Balance, and Resto I need to do some more learning about. I don't have quite the depth of knowledge on Druid as I do like on Monk, for example, because I played 3 different specs of Monk to 2K, so you learn a lot about the specking class in that point. I'll be doing that, of course, with Druid as well. So overall, the Feral Tree, I think, is obviously the big one because it got all the changes that were announced about a week or 2 ago. Balance has gotten some hints. Let's see, what else do we got? Yeah, this is all the PTR stuff, so let's go back to the main Wowhead page. Let's see, Profession and PvP vendors. Okay, I will take that. So I can mess around with that. Soar abilities cannot be moved on the action bar for Evokers on Dragonflight Beta, so Evokers gets cool stuff. Drakthir racial mounts being added. Okay. Oh, we're going to quickly talk about this. Hell yes. That's all I got. Hell yes. Inspiring, I didn't really care about as much. I just kind of zerged the Inspiring mob, but I know it can cause problems, and it does cause problems. It's not the greatest affix in the world. This not being around for Season 1 of Dragonflight, fuck yes. I am so happy about that. I'm going to adjust this camera a little bit. Great change. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful stuff. Alright, what else do we got here? Anything new? New 500 mounts, you get the Otter Autuk. I'm at like 100 mounts. I am so far away from getting this. Hey, a flying otter mount? Let's see what it looks like real quick. Oh, it looks like a soul shape? That's a little disappointing. Though that animation's pretty cool. Still gonna go for it eventually because it's a freaking otter, and otters are my favorite animals on the face of the earth. Love it, love it, love it. Class changes, rename talents. Oh, yeah, I did see this. This login screen is gorgeous. Let's look at this. Oh my god, that is so beautiful. I love this. Unfortunately, you don't see it that long because I automatically log in, but this is beautiful. Shout outs to the art team. Yeah, some small changes, whatever. We like that. I did notice that. See professional leveling guides. I'm not worried about classic stuff. Alright, so that's the thing. Classic stuff, more classic focused creators look great. So that's kind of a wrap up of kind of the news bomb that dropped at, like, you know, right as employees were leaving Blizzard for the frickin' day. You know, at 6 o'clock Central Time, 4 o'clock Pacific. So that's a wrap up of it. Overall, for Druids, I think we're in a really good place. If you want to go check out anything for your specified classes, I'll get into monk changes here and probably in another video. But just kind of wanted to wrap up kind of the big things that we got. So Druids, let's see, we got 4 minutes ago feedback post on Druids. Let's look. All the way to the bottom. Greetings, Balance Tree. Ooh, we got a picture. Future beta builds Balance Tree, but all new talent tree. But in the meantime, we're excited to share a preview what the new talent tree will look like. Of course, Dragonflight development, blah, 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 blah. Increase the interconnectedness of the talent nodes. That definitely looks like they've done that. Move Celestial alignment in a better place. Okay. New additions. Umbral Embrace. Dealing astral damage is a chance to make your next Wrath Starfire become astral and do 50% additional damage. Okay. So astral damage, I believe, is Star Surge. Interesting. Wild Mushroom is back, baby. Can I tell where it's at based on this tree? I think it's this node here. That's going to be my guess. Oh, no, it's this node here. Sorry. This node on this side. So very clearly like an AoE stretch down here. All right, I like that. Wild Mushroom being back, I'm very excited about it. It's had a few different versions of it over time, but anything that helps Boomkin AoE, I'm in for. Then it's in the Dream. We already talked about that. Your Moonfire and Sunfire have a chance to summon Fairy Dragger to assist you in battle. And then every other Eclipse creates a Fury of a Loon to 25% effectiveness. Cool. And then, of course, Starfall overlapping. So Boomkin got a blue post and a tree update. We'll dig in once we get more information on it. We can see what the talents look like and things like that. So cool. Good stuff coming out from Blizzard here very late in the day. So just kind of like an emergency video coming out. So till the next video, guys, hope you stay safe, you have fun, you keep on gaming. We'll see you next time.